Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Bella Astrology Podcast. I am your host and astrologer, Ashley, and in today's episode, we are talking about one of the most exciting full moons I think I've ever talked about. And it's not because this is the brightest or the biggest full moon. It's because of all of the astrology that is happening around it. Astrology always gives us these moments, these check-ins, these intentional pauses, but sometimes it gives us a new era. And I believe we are standing at the beginning of a new one. So the Aquarius full moon is happening on July 29th at 6 degrees of Aquarius. And for us here in the Central Time Zone, that's going to be at 9:36 a.m. that Wednesday morning. And every full moon brings with it a heightened energy, this moment to pause. But this one is more than that, because this one is asking us to wake up. It says, welcome to the revolution. And so what I want to do is I want to start by zooming out and talking about why this is so significant, why this is so exciting. And let's start about a week ago with Mercury going direct in Cancer. We're still in the shadow phase, but Mercury has stationed direct and will continue to progress through Cancer. Now, the lunar nodes have just shifted, and this is so significant. They shift every 18 months or so, and collectively, this is an entire new era on its own, and they have shifted into the signs of Aquarius and Leo. Now, Jupiter, as we know, is now in Leo for the first time in 12 years. Saturn just went retrograde. I'm trying to think who else. Pluto is making his revolutionary transmission through Aquarius. And that's every outer planet. I didn't mention Neptune, but Neptune is absolutely involved in Aries. Every single planet is activated with this full moon. And it's a whole new era, meaning this has never happened before. Think about that. This has never happened before. That is wild. We have nothing to reference back to on this. It is never happened. And that is so exciting. It's not simply about the transit. It's not simply about the alignments. It's truly this new chapter, this new world that we are walking into. And this full moon is sitting right on top of it. And it's asking us to pay attention. And so if we look at this moon itself, so this one is the buck moon. And it's the time of the year when the male deer, they're growing their antlers. And every year they shed those antlers. This is a natural process. It's not something to force or that happens unexpected. It is just this natural process. It's right on time. And it speaks to a lot what this new moon is speaking to about shedding, about regrowth, about being uncomfortable. And that is something that I think is really going to be illuminated. And let me know if you're feeling this too. But what are you ready to outgrow? What are you ready to shed? And this happening in Aquarius. So you can't put Aquarius in a box. Can't describe Aquarius. It's one of a kind. This is the sign that is unlike any other, and it's that way on purpose. This is the visionary. This is the rebel. This is the genius. It's the innovator. It's the observer. It's the sign that teaches us how to detach, to look at things from a different perspective, to ask a different question, to do it differently. And the one who's willing to ask all of the questions, to question the systems, the way things have always been done, to go against the status quo. Aquarius is the sign that reminds us that your uniqueness should never be hidden away. And the part of you that you spend the most time trying to soften, the part of you that you shy away from, that you try to explain or shrink away from, that is exactly your greatest contribution. Think about that. And so one of my favorite things about a full moon is that they illuminate. They bring things to light. This is the sun and the moon standing opposite each other across the zodiac, across the sky, and whatever you have been hiding can no longer stay in the dark. This is when things become revealed. This is why we can't sleep. The moon is illuminating something for you. It wants you to notice and to listen. And sometimes we recognize, of course, oh my gosh, how far we've come. It's a celebratory time. There's this heightened energy. Sometimes we see ourselves more honestly. There's those realizations. And this one carries with it so much truth. It's undeniable. It is revealing in all of the ways. And there's good reason for that. That uncomfortable feeling when you know that you've outgrown the room that you're in, you've outgrown the friendship, the conversation, the job, the relationship, that's uncomfortable. And very significantly, with this full moon that's happening at 6 degrees of Aquarius, well, who else is in Aquarius right now? At 5 degrees, Pluto is in Aquarius. And so these two are standing next to each other under this full moon. The moon is not alone. It's standing with Pluto. And that carries magnitude. That carries magnetism. And Pluto is this planet that truly transforms anything that it touches in the chart. And this planet, Pluto, often is misunderstood just as death and destruction. But if you think about it, that's such a beautiful ask. Pluto rarely asks us to lose ourselves. It's not about losing ourselves. It's asking us to lose everything that we've mistaken ourselves to be. The moon and Pluto standing together in Aquarius, anything that you have been masking, the mask you wear to perform something that's not aligned with you, that's what this full moon is bringing a funeral to. Ooh. Bringing a funeral to those versions of you, those masks, those uniforms that you've worn that mask your authenticity. It's time for their funeral. And so the masks, the survival strategies, the old identities, those stories that are just running on autopilot that you just keep repeating for some reason, those fears that you think are protection, but they're actually pushing you away from the thing that you want the most. They are the things that are keeping you small. And one of my favorite ways to think about Pluto is that Pluto detoxifies. Pluto purifies, right? It gets away all that needs to die off, all that is no longer aligned with your soul's path. And that, ask anyone who's gone through any type of transformation or change or life pivots or changes in direction, it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable because there is a breaking that is happening, unfamiliar territory. But there's so much beauty in breaking, because what breaks makes room for what is coming. And you can't always see what's coming. You have to trust. And that's all really what this whole life experience is about, is surrendering and trusting, loosening your grip on trying to control that illusionary idea that we actually have control, when the magic is when we surrender and let go. That's when the beauty takes over. And 3 days before this full moon, the nodes switch. So the North Node has now entered Aquarius and the South Node is in Leo. And this is a brand new karmic chapter. Whenever a new or a full moon happens close to these nodes, we have an eclipse. Now, this one isn't close enough to technically be called an eclipse, but do not mistake that for any weakness. The magnitude of this one, given everything that's happening astrologically, how could this not be eclipse season? How could this not be part of the story? The air feels different. The world feels different. You feel different, don't you? You can feel it. Energetically, we have shifted. And so there's such a beautiful paradox here with astrology happening in this storyline, in that with the North Node being in Aquarius, that means the South Node is in Leo. Well, Jupiter just entered Leo. The sun is traveling through Leo. It's home sign. And so are we supposed to abandon, because the South Node is what we are collectively moving away from in order to step into the North Node? And I want to be clear about that. That's not what we're doing. So when we talk about the North and the South Node, the North Node represents where we are going, and the South Node represents where we've been. It is not that we are stepping away from Leo at all. If anything, we are going so hard in Leo right now, but we are moving away from performing Leo. Okay? We're releasing the lower octaves of Leo, and it's that version of us where we're performing, that we feel like we have to earn love, that we feel like we need to earn attention and validation and visibility and belonging and applause, something outside of ourselves. And Jupiter being in this sign right now is magnifying the highest expressions of Leo, teaching us where to go to find joy, to be creative, to express ourselves, to be confident, to play, to love, to find romance, to love, be confident, be generous, and live from our heart. All of that's being expanded right now. And all that says is you don't have to do anything different. That is all your birthright. This is simply just about becoming more you. And I love that the North Node is in Aquarius, the moon's in Aquarius, Pluto's in Aquarius, because Aquarius is the sign of the future, but it's the sign of authenticity. And so as you become more of yourself, let go of anything that's not that. And so with Aquarius, if Leo is the heart, Aquarius is the future. Leo is the heart, Aquarius is also the mind. And so there's a connection here. There's an alignment happening, and this is so beautiful. And I think for this time frame right now, this is so potent. This is the most potent, palatable astrology that we've ever experienced. So Aquarius is asking, who are you becoming? Doesn't care about who you've been. This is the sign of the future. We're not going back. Let go of the past. and set your sights on the future. That's all that really matters. And bring those parts of you, bring that courageous heart, bring your joy, bring your creativity, bring your authenticity. That's what the world needs of all of us right now. And in Aquarius, Aquarius is the observer, the independent thinker. So think for yourself, feel for yourself, align with your heart, think bigger, think differently. And like I said, it's not who you've been, it's who are you becoming. And with that, some of the uncomfortable things that may come up with this full moon is, where are you still outsourcing your power? And that's thanks to Pluto sitting right next to the moon. Where are you still asking for permission? That is seeking outside approval of something somewhere that's completely an illusion. And where have you been shrinking to make other people comfortable? And that's such a Leo Aquarius conversation, is you were never meant to shrink. You were meant to shine. Your brightness, you should never dim your brightness because someone else can't handle that capacity, right? And so Aquarius reminds us that belonging doesn't mean that everyone agrees with you. It means that you belong because you exist, and that's it. That's it. That's enough. And so this full moon is happening at 6 degrees of Aquarius. And so that area in your birth chart is really concentrated right now. And so if you locate that house, that's the area of life that's under this illumination. That's where you're being asked to release, to evolve. There's a revolution happening here. And this is your path, as long as you trust it, to your future. And this is where I really want you to think about and really adopt this mindset of, I am not going to betray myself anymore in this area. I'm not going to shrink myself. I'm not going to ask for permission. This is my freedom. I am free here. This is what makes me magic. And this is where this full moon is already working. This is also where Pluto has been transforming this area of your life. So it won't be a surprise when you look at your chart. Now, if you're listening to this a little, I know you're listening to this, obviously, hi. But just to connect to real life, how you connect astrology to your astrology. For me, when I look at my chart, this full moon is happening in my second house. And so naturally, I'm going to be paying attention to all of the second house themes, my relationship to my values, what I'm building this lifetime, certainly my business, my businesses, where I'm investing my energy, what deserves it, what deserves my investment, where do I feel truly aligned? And is that where I am focusing on? And I never stop just at that area of life where the full moon is happening, because under a full moon sky, we are on a opposition axis, which means the sun is in the opposite house. So for me, this is my 8th house. And there's something so sweet here about this, because the 8th house asks an entirely different set of questions. What are you ready to release? What are you ready to surrender and let go of? Where are you being invited to trust more? And things that may surface would be old attachments, things that no longer belong in the chapter that I'm building. And as many of you know, I'm really going through a season of expansion right now. And I'm growing Bella brands. And I'm building new offerings. My network is expanding so much to the point where I'm working with multiple attorneys, and I am creating experiences that are so deeply aligned with who I am that it's really this entire new integration of a whole new lifestyle for me. And this full moon is such a beautiful reminder that while I am building something new, I'm also being asked to let go. And that's where sometimes I just have to give myself permission and remind myself, just let go. It's okay to let go. Old timelines, old expectations, old definitions of success. This is an entirely new world. This is an entirely new landscape. We've never been here before. I've never been here before. And I'm becoming a version of me I've never been before. And there are many things about me that no longer align with who I'm becoming. And that's uncomfortable. So if you are going through something where you're changing your life, you're going in a new direction, you're pivoting, how beautiful is that? I am right there with you, but it is uncomfortable and it is hard. And for me, this being my second and eighth house, what do I value enough to build? And what do I trust enough to let go? It's heavy, but it's so beautiful. And I'm just trying to embrace every single step of the process. And I think that's so beautiful question for everyone under this full moon. So wherever you have Aquarius in your chart, also look where you have Leo. There's an incredible storyline happening here. There's so much wisdom to pull from your chart and the story that's happening there. And those two houses, those two areas of your life are having this conversation under this full moon. One is showing you what is coming to light, and the other one is showing you what supports that growth as you let go. I know it's not that simple, but that's where the work is. And so maybe that's why I really love full moons so much, in that it's never just about the celebration. It's never just about releasing something. It's never just about the end. There are this beautiful dance, this relationship, this integration. Every beginning has an ending. Every expansion needs space. And every chapter asks us to thank the version of ourselves that got us there, but lovingly let her know that she doesn't get to carry everything into what comes next, because you've got this. And what truly deserves your energy. I love that message and what's coming through with this full moon. So as I sit with this full moon, I invite you to sit with this too. Listen, you don't need permission. You do not need permission to be yourself. Maybe that's the revolution. Not changing the whole world overnight. That's not what it's about. But changing the relationship that you have with yourself, giving yourself that permission, not going back to the old version of you, looking towards the future, and choosing authenticity over performance again and again and again. Because this is a new era, and this does not require you to become a new version. Certainly not the version that you've been told to become. It just requires you to become fully who you are. So if this full moon, if this time in life is really speaking to you and speaking to your heart, I would love to invite you to my sound bath that I am hosting on July 29th. And it's at 5:30. If you're local to the Brainerd Lakes area, it's at Divine North in Nisswa, Minnesota. We are going to spend the evening just really slowing down, coming to rest under this full moon sky, a chance to check in, regulate the nervous system, really come back to center, allow those beautiful bowls to help us in this surrender and this release process, and really welcome in all that is coming next. It's very intentional, it's very peaceful, it's very renewing. And I'd love to share that space with you. Thank you so much for tuning in to this full moon episode with me. If this episode resonated with you, or this message is one that you feel someone needs to hear, I ask that you would share it. And just that reminder that you don't have to perform. This is not about a performance. The world needs your authenticity. Welcome to the revolution. It's happening. We all came here intentionally to be part of this, and you are needed now more than ever. And so continue to look up, continue to follow your heart, and always remember that the stars may guide us, but it's your courage and your authenticity that is going to change the world. From my heart to yours.